It's Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and we thought on this segment we would talk about distracted driving and worker safety. As you may have heard on one of my shows, the Peggy Smedley Show, motor vehicle deaths in 2016 were estimated to be the highest in 9 years. And this impacts construction industry in so many ways. So here on this segment, Laura Black from Construct Tech and Dan Feigl, the associate editor of Construct Tech, are joining me so we can actually talk about how this is impacting construction. So Laura, let's talk about it. How are we seeing driving motorists actually impacting construction work sites these days?
Yeah, I think it's really twofold. I think we're seeing two things happen. I think the first thing you really think about is work zone safety, and we are definitely seeing, an increase in workers getting hit by cars. I think we need to educate workers on how to be more safe on the job site. I think that's first. But then I also think I'm hearing from a lot of construction companies that they're really aware of this distracted driving problem, and they're really interested in ways that they can help their drivers become safer on the roads as well. So I think it's really twofold.
I think you make a good point, because right now there's 20,000 workers that are injured on work sites. And I think that number is just too high right now if you think about it, because it's motor vehicles that are, it's not only that it's road construction, but it's the drivers who aren't necessarily, are they texting? Are they just not paying attention and slowing down at work sites? So Dan, what do you think we need to be doing?
Well, I think kind of going off of what Laura said, education is a big part of it. I know we talk a lot on the show about embracing new technology on the job sites, whether it be tablets, phones, or anything like that. But if you have a driver who is looking down at their phone, and then you have a worker on there who's also looking down at a phone, a tablet, or anything like that, you kind of create a recipe for disaster. So creating awareness on both sides, I think, is really important.
If we look at all this right now and we look at what's happening, we know that right now OSHA is saying that 1 in 10 deaths are occurring right now on, or injured, I should say, on the job site. What are we doing? Is it because, as you say, it's a twofold problem? Do we need to make sure that the workers know they need to be doing a more vigilant and paying attention? Or is it that motorists aren't paying attention and we need to say, look, we need to be paying attention to our surroundings? Or is it that we need to have more laws, more penalties, more fines? What's the combination?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think there needs to be awareness on both sides. I think there needs to be awareness on the construction job site. I think workers need to be aware. I think there's opportunities there to use some technologies to kind of help make them a little bit safer. And then I also think motorists, as you mentioned, drivers, there needs to be more done there to help make drivers a little bit safer. And I think, as you discussed, the National Safety Council does a really good job with Distracted Driving Awareness Month in April, and talking about how we can work together to make drivers more aware as well.
Well, one of the things when you talk about the National Safety Council, they talk about wanting to actually hear more from people saying that they want ways to stop the idea of people using their phones, because 90 workers a week, if you think about it, or 13 deaths every day. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy when you think about the worksite side of it. So should we now say that motorists are not allowed to actually be able to have their phones going through a worksite at all, being able to use their phones, that the penalties are going to be so strict that we say the fines, you get points on your driver's license if you get and you injure a worker at a job site? I mean, should we get that tough?
No, yeah, I think definitely so. As you said, we have fines and everything in Illinois. Even in just the Midwest too, even on the East Coast too. If you look, some people say that there's 2 seasons for those areas, and that's either winter or construction. So as the weather's getting warmer, as soon as it gets warm, people are out there working on the job site, and if people are on these roads, there has to be penalties out there to watch the people who are driving distracted.
Well, Dan, Laura, I appreciate you being with us. For everyone watching, that's our safety zone for today.